here in Arkansas, Central Arkansas, and they they bought this wall fabric that I installed in the judges' chambers. And I mean, we were charging them $10 a square fucking foot,
Jesus.
just to do the labor on it. They were $10,000 bolts of material, and I'm like, God, man, I get it, man. Okay, these are federal judges and all that, but holy fuck, man, you can't paint the fucking office. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and this wasn't like. I mean, this was like they spent a whole bunch of money to make the wall fragile. I mean, you fart on this shit and it stains. And we covered their whole walls with it. And then when they messed shit up with their grubby hands touching the wall, we stripped that shit, repaired the wall, and rehung shit. And it was all on the federal. I mean, this is where I learned about the federal marshals. Those are some sharp motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They'll see several hundred people a day, and the first time they see you, they know your name and they know what fucking the shit's going on. They probably know if your fucking fart smell. I mean, they just really are some sharp on the. Yeah, they're really sharp. Because I'd walk up the first time and showed my ID the very first day, and that was it. And I was there for months. And it was after 9/11. You don't just walk into the judges' chambers and
Right.
down into, yeah, or going down into these, what are they fucking called? Grand jury rooms. I did a whole bunch of wall vinyl down in there. But I mean, you don't just, there was a federal marshal that hung out with us every day, every time. He walked with us wherever the fuck we went.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, whatever. They want to make sure I wasn't putting bugs and stuff. That's not even the most secure environment I've worked in. So I mean,
Right.
yeah, the most secure environments I've dealt with are the investment banking groups. They have these huge server rooms that have billions and billions of dollars worth of information on it, because it's investment banking and they don't fuck around.
Right.
Yeah, but they love some fucking wallpaper.
No, I know what you're talking. Right out of college. Well, no, I was actually still in college, but I got a programming job to with the Department of Defense here in the Portland area, and it was just it was a stupid know nothing uh, job. It was just build a database. That's all it was. And
Wow.
I mean, talk about throwing money. I mean,
Yeah,
just I was set for like a fucking year, man. That was,
yeah,
and
that's crazy.
it took me maybe a month to get it all down and right, and
Wow.
it probably wouldn't have taken me that long, except that when I first started out, I was like, okay, well, what's going into this database? Well, we can't tell you that, it's classified.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if I don't know what's going in, I can't build a database. And so that took a week of them talking back and forth to one another as I got,
Yeah.
I spent the week basically in a holding pattern, just sitting there kind of learning their computer system, I guess. And,
Yeah.
then they came back, well, we can tell you this and this. These are the headers and the footers that we need, and these are the fields and the cells. I'm like, I can work with that. I mean, what you
Right.
guys do with it after I leave, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
as
I
long as your
feel you.
as long as your check doesn't bounce, I don't give a fuck. you know?
Yeah. I'm fighting the urge to book a trip to fucking Portland this year.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just for a concert. I want to see Aurora. I want to see Aurora live, and she loves that fucking area there.
Yeah.
She'll come. You'll probably see advertisements for her, but she ain't coming to the South.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she's my favorite artist. It's not even a sexual thing. She's just angelic in her fucking,
Yeah.
her her performances. Everything I've seen. I want to see her live if I get a chance.
Yeah.
I'd rather go there than New York.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, the Empire State.
Yeah. My wife loves New York. I am. I've never been, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm just not. I'm just not that. It's not exciting to me to go.
Yeah, man, the Adirondack Mountains are amazing. Lake George is beautiful. Saratoga Springs is a neat little place, even if you don't like horse racing. You know, uh, but I mean, God, man, just the cost increase of fucking eating, sleeping, gas, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, just it just goes insane up.
Yeah.
And I'm Arkansas is we have an extremely low cost of living, so things look really expensive to me when I
Right.
leave. Yeah,
Shit. Out here in the Vancouver Portland area, you'd probably think that this costs a lot. I mean, and this is nothing compared to like California. Pretty much anywhere in California anymore. But
right. California's a fun state,
yeah.
but yeah, it taxes shit out of you. But at least you're having fun when you get fucked in fucking California.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New
At least
York,
you're
they're
enjoying
like, yeah, New York is too cold.
it.
Well, I've only been up. I haven't been up there during the ice months, so that you know, of course, it was cold.
Yeah, my wife and I went on vacation to Boston, and we went up to Portland, Maine, and whatnot. But we fell in love with Boston. I absolutely adore Boston. Love it. I mean, we were there for maybe 10 hours total, and I was like, we could live here.
Right.
I'd be perfectly all right going home, packing shit up, and moving to Boston. I'd be okay with that.
My my first next big city would be San Antonio. I love that, the Alamo, the Riverwalk. Oh, at
Yeah,
Christmas time when they put the lights up on the Riverwalk in San Antonio, it's great. Uh, and then maybe Toronto, just because it's got Ontario Place is really fun. It's got a cool zoo, and they didn't have a lot of trash when I went up there. It was really nice. I mean, even the kind of slummier parts, they didn't have a lot of litter, you know. So I thought that was neat. But they want import prices for fucking Budweiser.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's weird.
it always so I worked in bars for quite some time, and it always cracked me up. They'd have different prices for domestic and import. And imports, they would have microbrews. Well, we're in Portland. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you calling this microbrew an import? They're literally right down the fucking street. Like
Oh,
it takes them 10 minutes to get from their loading dock to deliver it to the bar.
wow.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this import? Well, that's just the way the pricing is. Well, that's
Yeah.
stupid. That's
And so we can
dumb.
charge you more,
Right, so they
you
can charge you
know?
more. Right, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Hello, Dimmerin. Hello, Cameron.
Hey. Hello.
Hello, Kevin.
Greetings.
So it looks like Corey said he had a family emergency, so no Rexar tonight. Hope everything's going to be okay. Hope it's not an issue with his dad, but so that's where Corey is. So it'll just be the four of you. But welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have started their jump towards Tryaoke and going to try and deliver these all these refugees to Tryaoke and resettle them. And but they're going to have to do a little reconnaissance because they don't know a whole lot about Tryaoke, and they're going to find out the hard way. But before we get started, we'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. And tonight we would like to thank... I'm brain farting. Let's thank Dogmight Games. Dogmight Games makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your tabletop games, such as wooden DM screens. They've got dice vaults, dice trays, dice towers. They have this really cool thing called the Player Vault, where it's like a combination dice vault, dice tray. It's got a slot for your pen or pencil, someplace to put your mini, and the top is a magnetic attaching plexiglass screen that is etched with your choice of character sheet so that you can write notes on it with dry erase pens. They are capable of doing all sorts of customization. If you order something that's customized, it will usually ship to you in 6 to 8 weeks. But they do have a lot of items that are already in stock. And so if you check their in-stock items on their website, you'll probably find something that you like. They have everything they do is absolutely gorgeous. And those usually ship in 1 to 2 business days. We do have a code if you've been on the fence about purchasing in the past. It is good for 10% off everything on their site. So just put whatever it is that you want to order into your cart, and then when you check out, use the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will net you 10% off your purchase. If you're a fan of our Traveler game, we do have a Traveler website that I know I still haven't updated. It's via Obsidian Portal. It's down below. I am going to be getting on that. I've been just slammed with writing work. So it's coming. I will be updating it. But the adventure log is written in the manner of news service articles for Traveler News Service Agency. And it deals with information from all over the Reach and some of the stuff coming in from the Imperium. But these guys, being the dastardly fiends that they are taking much more of a front page kind of view. If you like what you see, please go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see those fan likes, and we hope you enjoy.
I'd like to point out that, you're talking about how dastardly and all that, and that is the old us. Okay,
oh, yes.
We've been perfect gentlemen and gentlewomen here in these ulterior IDs. Just saying.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You've been almost heroic.
Yeah, rock stars.
Yes. Yeah, and you've got you have this ship. It is an old clan transport, an Aslan clan transport, 600 tons. It is beat up. It's only got jump 1, but it has plenty of fuel, so it can make 3 jump 1s, and you have jumped for Tryaoke, and so excuse me, the large bulk of the passengers are actually in cold storage. They're in low berths, both in the Bad Betty itself and in the Little Betty, which is a shuttle that is in the shuttle bay. And so I think there's like 80 low berths in there, which is, that's fine because there's not enough gravity couches for them anyways, or acceleration couches rather. And so, most of the population of these refugees are in low berths. The rest of the population, about 80 people, are doubled up in 2 to a room in cabins. And in your in the 2 weeks of jump, the first week of jump rather, you guys kind of get a chance to kind of witness how different these refugees are. So many of them never knew life outside of the Glorious Empire. They were never normal people. They were born into slavery in the Glorious Empire. There are a few of them that they're old enough that they were captured as slaves, and so those are the ones. If you remember last week, there were some of the people that were extremely fearful of going into low berth because they remember that time when they were captured. And the Glorious Empire to maximize profits, they have a really bad scenario where, to get more slaves onto a ship, they'll double them up into low berths. So they'll put 2 or 3 people into one low berth, which, that dramatically lowers the survival rate. And so a lot of these people had some PTSD from that because they never knew if they were going to be able to walk out of that or not. And so what you're witnessing with these people, even the ones who were captured, they were slaves of the glorious empire long enough. What you're seeing is humans that don't act like any humans that you know. They act like all of the Aslan that you have ever met. So for a lot of them, that means they'll spend time up here in the Aslan shrine that's aboard the Betty, actually meditating and conferring, or I guess praying is the answer, to their ancestors, or they'll congregate in there and just kind of chat about remembering different stories about their ancestors and things like that. And in a lot of cases, the ancestors that they're referring to aren't even other humans. They're actually referring to old Aslan legends and tales. And the other thing that you have noticed, there at one point, they get into scuffles and arguments. Of course, they're people. Everybody does. And there was a small argument that there was no good resolution, and it was settled by, and this is common. It was settled with monkey blades and monkey knives, and they fought to first blood, just like the Aslan do. And and then after that, it's dropped. They just, all right, situation resolved, move on with our lives. And at first, of course, you guys, when you saw this fight, at first you were probably apt. Some of you were probably apt to try to intervene and put an end to this, but Rexar is the one who kind of told you to back off. He understood what was going on. Although it is a little, to you guys, it's a little strange. Rexar has seen this behavior before, and it is not unusual for humans that have been completely, I don't think ingratiated is the right word, but absorbed into Aslan society. It's not a normal situation to you, but I guess to Rexar, this is completely normal.
Well, if there's repeat people doing problems or getting into it, I mean, we can trade them out with low berth people. I mean,
but
I'm just saying.
But that's just it. It's not really a problem. They deal with it, and then the issue is dropped, and everybody goes about their business. And
they respect our rules and
oh yeah,
things of the ship. Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, most of the time, I mean, they're either going from their small common area back here, and maybe up to the shrine. But that's the first week that you are in jump space, and if you remember, you had bullseyed coming out into a blank hex, and so at the end of the week, the Betty does come out of jump, and you are in deep space. It is not very often. I mean, when I say deep space, it's not very often that you guys are in this situation. There is nothing. Like, there's no. It's just black. There is nothing. There's no planets. There's no asteroids. There's no comet. It is just emptiness, and it is a sinking feeling because, for one, your maneuver drives don't really function very well. right now, well, I mean, it's not like the Betty was a fast ship to begin with. She had thrust 2. That's not terrible, but right now she's got like thrust 1, and that's only because that's the bare base minimum. I mean, it's actually probably lower than that. Maneuver drives require there to be some kind of gravity mass in the system for them to function. You can't use a maneuver drive in deep space. There are some modified maneuver drives, the deep space maneuver drive, but that's not something that you see very often because, I mean, nobody does that. Why would they do that? It's mostly would be something used for exploration ships and things of that nature. Captain Beth would be well versed in the usage of deep space maneuver drives, but or at least know of them. But it's not even with the scout service. It's not they're not something that's usually used. So I mean, you guys are basically sitting here, and it's because of the fact that there are no navigational landmarks. Which landmark? That's an odd word to use when you're in deep space, but because of that, it takes longer to do your astrogation check, and the reason it takes longer is because in order to astrogate to your next point, you have to know where you're starting, and so
can I run a scan to see if I can see distant stars or anything to help them?
Well, that's going to be part of whoever is doing the astrogation. So, who wants to?
I think you have.
Yeah, I have the astrogation skill.
Okay, go ahead and make an astrogation check.
Okay. $13.
Okay, so this takes Keith about 4 hours, and at the end of 4 hours, so it was a difficult check, 10 plus, and Keith is able to, using basic stellar navigation and constellations, he is able to calculate what your starting position is, and that will allow Keith to get a +3 on his J drive plus intellect check to jump.
Nice. All right. $14.
Nice. So no miss jump. You guys take off from this empty space, and you are in jump again for another week. Is there now that you've kind of I mean, you're definitely on a first name basis with what was her name? Lanka, I think. What's her name?
You talking about the journalist?
No, that's Yana Teak. And
Yeah.
Yana has been, her and her videographer have been going around essentially kind of interviewing the refugees, spending a lot less time following you guys around and more time kind of ingratiating herself with the refugees and interviewing them and things like that. Lenka is her name. Lenka is the leader of the refugees, with Ilium and Udin is the other guy. Those three are kind of getting the majority of the interviews. Ting, I will allow you to make a communications plus either intellect or education check.
Okay. See how I can do. All right. You said communications?
Yes.
So nice little comms. How about a 10?
So, just before Keith flips the switch and throws the Betty back into jump, you pick up, originating from the Betty, a large radio burst.
And it's somewhere in the ship. It's
Well,
coming from us.
it came from the Betty.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to investigate who did this. That's the thing. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell the captain.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, okay, anybody who is not of the actual ship crew needs to exit the bridge right now.
Yeah, I would say none of the refugees would be allowed on the bridge. It would just be
correct,
you guys.
but
Maybe Captain Val Treadwell is on the bridge, but aside from that, it is just you guys.
No reporters on the bridge.
Oh no, they're Yana, Tink, and Nendo are off. At the shrine interviewing.
Was I able to capture this signal?
No, you just saw. I mean, it was just a flash, and then you guys were in jump.
Okay.
Is there any way I can track power usage?
Make an engineering power plus intellect or education.
Okay. That's 8.
No, it doesn't really tell you much. I mean, it's really difficult because the jump drive drains so much power from the ship when you go into jump.
Makes sense.
Can I check the computer logs on the ship to see if any power has been diverted or anything?
Sure. Go ahead and make a computer plus electronic computers plus intellect or education.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep riding with this same bit. If I can get it to actually do it. There we go. How about a 9?
Yeah, you're not detecting that there was any. You're not seeing anything in the computer logs that shows that there was any diversion of power.
All right, then the next logical place to check would be the Little Betty or the Bumblebee, the little shuttle.
Yeah, the Little Betty.
Yeah, the Little Betty. Maybe we could engineering and computer go. Me and Keith and I could go investigate there. I'm going to go ahead and put on my battle dress scanning suit.
Okay.
As it go about, because that really makes me able to scan areas as I go along.
The radio burst is like proof of what? It's not like a message, is it? So what?
Oh, if there's a radio burst, that's sending somebody a message, yeah.
So
or data. I mean, it could be our reporters sending out their news story.
So we saw it, but we didn't intercept what it said. Is that the deal?
Well, it may not have said anything. A radio burst could just be like a beacon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but we don't have any way to look at what it was. We just noticed that it happened.
Yeah.
Deal, right? Okay.
And this was shot out while we were in dead space.
Right.
Which is super weird.
Yeah. So, I don't know if someone dropped a beacon behind us, like what he was saying, but I mean, we can investigate. First we'll investigate the ship, and then we got to think someone's got something personal, so we can go just start inspecting everybody's stuff, including the journalists. We can question the journalists about it, but I mean, if I'm in my combat vest, I feel confident I could beat the damn all the live passengers with no weapons at all.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not.
Well, I would suggest in addition to that is we might want to go as stealthy as possible as this ship is capable of, and move away from wherever that burst came from.
Well, you You guys are already in jump space.
Okay.
This radio burst flared out right before you went into jump.
Yeah. Anything it said or did or triggered will be behind us.
Right. Well, and radio's going to travel with the speed of light. We're going much faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
If we take this route again, try not to land in the same spot.
Well, you've got like a 3.62 light year playground, so.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. We've already got the calculations once. I would do them again or do something different, just so you don't go in the same spot in case somebody wants to leave a unpleasant surprise.
But we're wanting to go investigate the little Betty, both the computer and the power and stuff, to see if any of it was used to broadcast signal, do the radio.
So Keith and Ting are heading down to the shuttle bay. What's Beth want to do?
I guess I want to tell the ship captain fella, see if he has any ideas.
So you're telling Captain Treadwell that about this radio burst, and he's as baffled as you are. He can, other than the Betty's own comm system, which is just a civilian grade communication system. He's not aware of anything that would, and you've got like, I mean, you don't have the data that was captured, but I mean, you've got like the oscilloscope of what this thing looked like, and he's like, no, there's nothing that he can think of on the Betty that would produce a signal like that.
Yeah. So
from the prayer chamber, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking it's probably the reporters is
that's
be the first thing. Yeah.
Action.
they brought their own shit that had no inspection or whatsoever aboard, and then the captain might be doing something. Yeah. If it's one of these refugee people, man, they're gonna find themselves in a bad situation.
Ox, did you have anything that you wanted to do?
No, not really.
Okay.
Keep up with my gunnery skills.
Okay. So, Keith and Ting, you get over to the Little Betty, and you go over it the same way, and you don't come up with anything. You find, and I can show you Little Betty.
Let's make the journalists investigate it. That's their whole job.
Your whole job is to be an investigative journalist.
All right. Well, yeah. You want to check out the journalist quarters, Keith?
Yeah.
We could go sniffing around in there if there's no sign here. Yeah. All right. We're gonna go look through the journalist quarters and their stuff.
Okay. So you're up on deck 5. And both of you can make my stuff. Looking for my stuff. Here
we go. We reconning? Is that what we're doing?
Make both of Keith and Ting can make investigate plus intellect checks.
Bullshit. All right, let's see. Do I have Oh hell yeah, I got investigate 1. Hey, plus intellect. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna use the +1 with my peripheral vision eyes that give me. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. That gives me a +2. How about an 8?
Okay.
I also got an 8.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
You're probably better at it than I am.
So you guys are going over Yana and Nando's quarters.
I'm also going to scan with my suit looking for electronic signatures of things that might have batteries or anything like that.
So you find a ton of stuff that has batteries. You find a ton of stuff that has wireless communication ability. I mean, so Ting is going over, both of you are going over, they're sharing a cabin. And I mean, of course, you find they're reporters, and so you find a lot of stuff that has radio ability, but it's all rather short range radio ability.
They got a computer?
Oh yeah, of course. She's got a portable computer that she uses for. They both have portable computers that they use for editing their report and editing their video, things of that nature. But overall, neither one of you finds anything that would be capable of the radio burst that you saw. I mean, the radio burst that you saw was on the level of like a really high-end transceiver.
Right. Well,
something that would have almost a planetary range if you were on a planet.
Right.
And these guys, they don't have anything like that. They have mobile comms, but they don't even have like a transceiver themselves. They rely on the network of whatever planet they're on.
Are these real high tech level computers that they have?
They're not terrible. Yeah, I mean they're pretty good stuff, but it's not something that's going to have that level of range.
Right. I just happen to be a computer guy, and I'm here. I mean, getting some remote access to their computers and setting that up while I have a physical contact with them might be a good idea. What do you think, Keith?
Just be careful.
Oh, you know me. I'm careful.
So what is it that you wanted to do?
I want to go ahead and try to hack in there and put myself a little Trojan horse covertly in there so I can remotely access the hard drives and stuff on the computer here. And I can just, this is for security purposes. It's for our protection as well as theirs.
However you want to justify it so that you can sleep at night. So you go ahead and
it doesn't take much justification for me to sleep at night. Yeah. I sleep fine.
Go ahead and make a Electronics Computers Plus education or intellect check.
Right, I'm going to use...
And don't forget your intrusion software. And
that's what I was going to say. My computer is TL14. So if I'm... I think I get +1 for each one above their thing, their technical level that I am, or a minus in theory.
So you guys are a little, as Ting is trying to hack into this computer, you guys are a little, all of you are a little bit, I wouldn't say, I think saying you're starstruck is a little excessive, but you are a little bit in awe. There's been a lot of rumors about Yana Teak. Yana Teak is such a popular and prolific reporter that there's been all manner of rumors, like for instance that she's not even a real person, that it's a computer generated image, that's how she gets around and does all these different news reports so quickly, or that she's really a high-end android somebody. I mean, there's all these ridiculous conspiracy theories about her, but you guys have she's on your ship. She's interviewed, multiple people. She's around you almost all the time, like in close quarters. And what you are feeling is that she's just a normal person like everybody else that has a job to do. But always in the back of your head, you have this little niggling feeling that maybe something about her isn't right. Maybe she is an android. And how would you know? I mean, she could be a clone. You've run into that kind of situation. You don't know, but the general feeling that you get is like she's very normal. She just is passionate about her job. So what'd you get?
I got a 10 plus whatever technical level advantage I have for using a TL level 14 computer.
So that gives you a 12, because you get a +2. And so you are you're working on it.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily trying to access it right now. I'm just trying to put in the back door thing where I can do this. She might have to have the computer on for me to be able to get in there or whatever.
It's on. It's just in order to install, some kind of spyware, you would have to first get past the initial security to get in. You can't just or if she's really stupid, you could attach it to an email. Hey, there's this prince from Geneva that he's supposed to get 15 million credits, but he can't access it right away. So he was thinking that maybe you could use your bank account and just wire him the money. That might work.
Hey, that sounds like a great idea.
Let's do that.
But so Ting is working on this, and every week I forget to do
So I'm not going to hang around with Ting and do that. I want to.
I don't want to be anywhere near him while he's doing this. I don't know you.
Well, I mean, if the reporters end up dead, it'll be because they caught me.
Yeah.
All right.
Or I end up dead. Or
So Keith, you see him start to hack in. You're like, oh, okay, I gotta go.
Look at the time.
You can go talk to him, Keith.
Yeah, I guess at this point I would do. I would be thinking about a sensors check, and that would probably be the last of what I do on this sort of quest to find what's going on.
Okay.
For now.
So, are you going back to the bridge? Where are you going to run the sensors check?
Yeah, I'd do it from the bridge.
So, you leave the cabin, and as you leave, you are heading back towards the bridge. You look down the deck, and you see that Nando is heading back towards his cabin, in which the cabin that he and Yana are sharing. He's coming towards you from the aft end of the ship, and Ting's still in there hacking or attempting to hack into her laptop.
Hey, Ting, she's on her way.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, if that's the case, I'll stop what I'm doing and leave. I will not dilly-dally.
And from down the deck, so from down the deck, Nando says, "Oh, Chief Engineer Keith, if are you here to deliver that repaired drone that Rexar swatted?"
We're doing a quick investigation of an anomaly.
Oh, well, did it come from our quarters? I don't.
We're not quite clear on where it came from. Just doing a quick investigation.
Oh, well, should we be concerned about anything? Is there something wrong with the ship?
No, I think we're in good shape. But I'll get back to your drone pretty quickly here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make a deception plus charm check.
Okay. 9.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
so so he's like, oh, okay, well, no terrible hurry. I've got more of these drones. Just they are kind of expensive. And at about that time, Ting steps out, and you guys can head back up to the bridge. So you get back up to the bridge. You want to?
Can I leave my robot as a listening spying device in here? Just kind of, tell it to scutter underneath the bed and listen.
You could, yeah.
I mean, what could be the harm in that?
The rails here, like I'd leave you guys alone for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll just go. I won't. Yeah. I'll go. I'll go with Keith. We'll go back to the bridge peacefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to do a sensor sweep, is what your idea was. So
Yes.
I think Ting has better sensors than you, though. Like I'm pretty sure.
What are you looking for specifically?
I'm just looking for an anomalous amount of something that would carry a large amount of power.
Okay. So yeah, somebody can make a electronic sensors plus intellect or education.
I'll do a total of +3 on my roll.
Okay, you do better than me.
Well, that's a 9.
Okay. So you do pick up something that you do pick up a. Trying to think of how to put this. It has its own power source, but you are picking up something. You are picking up an electromagnetic signature that doesn't match everything around it, and it's coming from engineering.
Ooh. I got your back, Keith. You can check it out. I'll go with you. No one fuck with you. I'll bring my piston fist.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Okay. So you get back into engineering, and you this is the first day that you're back into first day of week 2 and jump, and everything looks just like the last time you left it. It's engineering. Do you want to do like a thorough investigation?
Absolutely. I'm concerned.
Okay. So both of you can make investigation plus intellect checks.
I want to use the scanner of my
you can do that.
armor.
You can do that.
And do a scan. So
yeah.
So I found it on one scanner. Well, 7, but I already kind of know the signature, possibly. Keith might do better. Yeah. He might better at poking around his own engineering.
So, Keith, I will allow you to make your roll with a boon. It's kind of the help action kind of thing. So you can roll 3 and take the 2 highest.
Okay, I still got an 11.
Okay, so with an 11, you do find something. You find a tucked into a service corridor, a service hatch that nobody hardly ever has a reason to go into. You find a transceiver hooked up to its own battery source.
Okay, that's not good. I guess first thing I would do is attempt to unplug it.
Okay. You will want to make. I guess in this case we'll just say an engineering power plus intellect or education.
They're old boxcars. So that's yeah.
So you reach over and just flip the switch on the static strip and just turn it off. Yeah, it goes and lights turn off on it.
Can you tell where it's from or anything?
No, I'm gonna start looking at this thing over, like, or maybe Ting would be better equipped to do that. I'm not sure, but examining this thing to figure out where it came from.
So the two of you are looking this thing over, and the first thing that you can realize is that, in poking around with it, and looking it over and making sure that you don't you haven't seen this kind of design for a transceiver. I mean, they're all basically the same, but you haven't seen this particular kind of design before. It's not a model that you're familiar with. But the one thing that you do realize in poking around with it is that the serial number information and all of anything like on the circuit board, anything in writing, it's all in Troke, which is Aslan.
I have a translator program.
Well, I mean,
well, I was just saying that might be able to say what it's on or off, or.
Yeah. I mean, your translator program would allow you to operate it. The one thing that you can determine is that using your translator program. I mean, like I said, the translator program, it's saying on off. You know, looking at the circuit board, it's like this particular resistor has this much ohms, etc.
I'll read it aloud so his earwig will pick it up.
Okay. But what you can determine is that this particular model of transceiver looks like, and having spent enough time with Rexar, this model is very simplified. It looks like it would be used by a male.
Interesting.
Does it have a record of the last message or thing that it did?
So the thing about this transceiver is that it doesn't have any kind of it is a radio transceiver, but it is not a voice transmission device. There's no mic or anything like that. This thing, it's a beacon. It blasts out a massive radio burst that basically says, "I'm here," and that's all it does.
How about this? How about we take this with us, Keith, and I leave my assassin's droid right here in its place with its camera looking at whoever opens the hatch?
It's not a bad idea. What I'm worried about at this point is that this is a beacon to the Glorious Empire or something such.
It wouldn't have that kind of range, but I mean, it would. Let's see here. I can tell you what the range on this would be.
You should just eat it. Just whoop. You can go find it attached to nothing. That'll be like the biggest disappointment ever.
In mid jump too.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that's gone.
After we jump, we'll spit it out and let it blast radiation, and they'll show up and find nothing.
So this thing, the range.
You're saying that hook a battery to it and just kick it out the back of the the ship? We could definitely space it when we first hit the next spot.
So this thing would have a range of, it would be considered interplanetary. So anything in a star system would be able to pick it up. You're talking about a range of like 500,000 kilometers.
So for something to pick it up, they would have to be something there.
Right.
Or like our trail, more
Yeah.
or less.
Yeah.
Whoever put it here probably knows the answer. I still think that they'll come to it. You know, we just leave the assassin's droid here, take it with us when we want to, you know, leave space. We can just kick it, you know, space it, and you know, even put the battery back on it and just space it right there, and we go on our merry way without it. And whoever goes to check on it, you know, I've got out. I mean, that's all in my neuro network. I'll be notified with a
Okay.
live instant video feed, right?
Yeah. I mean, in your assassin droid. So then the question on the assassin droid is: are you just telling the droid to do video feed, or are you having the droid do more?
I mean, I want an audio video feed of it watching the area.
Okay.
You know.
So you're just using it as a drone.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, you know, when, you know, maybe motion activated when the hatch opens, you know, just to kind of ping me and start giving me a live feed of who's looking in the hatch.
Right.
And then, you know, I will gladly tell the captain, who will probably, you know, have a real intense, serious conversation with that person.
Yeah, there's going to be a conversation. Let's see here. Look at that.
And if they touch my droid, it might be a very, you know, I've been really trying to get her to take somebody's arms and legs off so we can have a mascot.
Let's see. That was the creeper assassin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, these creeper assassins, they've only got 4 hits.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a ball peen hammer will destroy it.
Yeah.
But okay, so you leave your assassin droid, your creeper in there, and shut the panel, and you guys, I guess, report your findings to the captain, or
Absolutely.
go back to the bridge and confer amongst yourselves. Is there any? Do you guys have any other plans? I mean, you've got basically a week in jump space. There would be no use for this thing while you're in jump space because there's nobody to hear it. Theoretically.
Right, but at some time someone's going to give it some information or something, and maybe try to, you know, I don't know.
So it's pretty small, and in space there's not like a lot of friction, so you don't need a lot of energy to make it go any specific direction. So if there's a way we could attach something that'll propel it just a little bit in space, that'll wing it way off the course.
Right.
Why can't we make a slingshot and just put on our vac suits, open up the cargo door, or open up the airlock even, and just, you know, pull the slingshot back and let it go?
We could do that, or we could put a little rocket on it.
Or just depressurizing the airlock.
Well, so here's the thing about that. So it's funny because, like, you watch all these sci-fi, these movies and TV shows, and they're like, oh, so-and-so died, so, you know, we're going to have our burial in space, and they'll stick the body in the airlock, they open the airlock, he gets sucked out, and they then move on like that's the end of it. But see, that's not reality. Because the ship has more mass than the body does. And it's, I don't know if you guys saw Avenue 5, but that show was hilarious. And they actually had it right. They kept doing that. And so after like a couple of weeks, they just had this orbit of bodies that would float past like the windows like every hour because there was all these bodies floating around the outside of the ship. And that's the reality of the situation.
It wouldn't come in jump space with us, would it?
No. If you put something in an airlock in jump space, well, there's a couple. There are.
No, I mean if we eject it from the ship,
it's gone forever.
Jump.
Yeah, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
It's gone. It just like essentially ceases to exist.
Oh no, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if we eject it from the ship in regular space, but then we jump.
Oh yeah, no,
it
gone.
Stays behind, right?
I mean, theoretically, it could get caught up in your jump net, but once if it's not attacked, something, even if it's in your jump net, if it's not attached physically by something, it's gone. Like it just goes away.
So what I want you two nerds to do is a bunch of math to see if the slingshot idea is doable, because that uses like basically zero energy. And if it's not, then like figure out how to rig something up. That I think you could do it in a week, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, you guys,
What?
yeah, you guys have, it's in your possession now. So I mean,
I mean, we've got a battery pack. Maybe we could put like a little propeller on it. I guess the rocket or something. Yeah.
well, I mean, you could rig something up with, a spare air canister.
We could use the
more than
pressure
enough.
of the airlock to spit it out with the natural expulsion of, we've got a lot of pressure and we immediately open the outside door.
True.
Is there a trash chute?
We should plug it back in so that when we come out of jump space, it looks like it wasn't detected and then unplugged. That's what we should do, and then we should eject it with our whatever you guys rigged up.
So this transceiver doesn't even look like it's set up to receive. It only
you're right. Yeah.
It sends out a radio burst and that's it.
Okay. Well, see, what I was thinking is if there was like an interruption in whatever like scheduled bursts there were, they might be like, "Oh shit, someone found it."
What does trigger it to burst?
You don't know.
I don't
Can
know.
we tell?
Yeah, if it is a timer, then what'll happen is that it won't go off when they expect, and they'll go investigate, and they'll find the passenger, and then we'll know who it was.
But we can plug it back in for now, and then yeet it, and hopefully it'll go wildly off course before they figure it out. That'd be cool.
We want to do the math on just depressurizing the airlock instantaneously, kind of making it like a potato gun, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, you can figure out a way that when you come out of jump, you could put it in the airlock and yeet it out into space, and it will go off on its own trajectory.
Sweet.
That's not a problem. I mean,
Okay.
it's not it's not difficult math to do.
Right. There's a lot of force there in that, instant depress. Because I don't know how many times I've had to roll a save every time I fuck around and open an airlock on the other side.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So,
and then are you doing any further investigation for this week, or are you just going to wait and see?
There's nothing else to do besides mess with it,
yeah.
right?
I think I should. Yeah, maybe we should try to make sure the prisoner people, refugees, we could make sure they're having a decent existence. So this many weeks in space and close quarters doesn't bite us in the ass on the ass end.
So that's actually a really good.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So checking on the people, they of course, you spent maybe 4 or 5 hours in regular space before jumping again. So that kind of length of time in jump space can be taxing. You guys are a little bit more used to it than others because in a lot of your trips you have decided to do the forced march route, and so you'll rather than the standard procedure is you're in jump for 1 week, then you're in regular space for 1 week, where you land and you refuel, or you dock at a high port and you refuel, and everybody gets to stretch their legs a little bit and see something other than the inside of your ship. In this case, it is just basically two weeks of constant doldrums waiting to come out of jump. And so the passengers, the refugees, are a little bit mopey and on edge, but what you do notice is that they don't seem to be as bad as you would expect. So like they're not as on edge as if you had docked at a port and done this because you took on passengers. Totally different. These people are like, you know, it is what it is, and they seem like they're used to that kind of behavior. Like, you know, it sucks, but, you know, this is a Tuesday for us. Hey, at least we're not doubled up in a low berth, you know? So they seem like they're fairly okay. At the end of the week, the alarm, the buzzer goes off, indicating that you are going to come out and jump, and you're actually about 5 hours early. And so the ship comes out of jump, and the shutters on the windows go up so you can see out, and the passive sensors immediately come on, and you know that there are quite a few ships in the orbital traffic here. I mean, you're still 100 diameters out from Tryaoke, and at 100 diameters, I mean, Tryaoke looks like a speck in the distance. But you are seeing that there is a large amount of traffic coming and going from the planet. Well, not coming and going. There's a large amount of traffic sitting around the planet, and the passive sensors are reading that most of these ships are in the 200 to 2,000 D-ton range.
Go ahead and send the transceiver out the airlock. Is that what you want, Captain?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So Ding gets up, goes and yeets it out the airlock. But the rest of you on the bridge, you're seeing that there's all these ships in the area. The big ones, the ones that are close to 2,000 tons, you're noting that there are a lot of Aslan military ships here. 2,000 tons, you're not looking at, you know, I mean, everything to an Aslan is a warship. But, you know, they're obviously bigger than you are. They're much more well armed, but they're not anything like battle cruisers that you would see from the Imperium or anything like that. But they're still scary enough. The smaller craft in the 200 to 600 ton range are clan transports, similar to what the Betty is. There are a lot of Ihati show scout ships. There are a lot of Traitor ships. And the entire area just seems to be flooded with these. And around the planet, the passive sensors pick up that there are a number of orbital facilities, but there's no real high port. The orbital facilities that are coming up appear to be just like warehouse facilities. But none of these ships appear to be moving into land. They're all just kind of in a holding pattern around the planet. The military ships look like they're blockading the planet, but you haven't flipped on your sensors yet. This is all passive data that's coming in.
I mean, we just jumped in. They saw us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no stealth on this ship at all. I mean, you guys lit up the area like a neutrino burst.
They'll talk to us. Probably.
Probably.
They might be like, so what are you doing here? Kind of things. Yeah.
Maybe we should cook up a story first. Hey, we have some journalists on board. I bet they can come up with something.
Well, I mean, you guys are here legitimately. You are here in the you are here as representatives of the I'm gonna murder this name. The Yukayako,
Oh,
the
That's
clan
right.
chief. I mean,
so
he's
yeah, that's true. They have to respect that.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he sent you here, so
Well, let's chat then, I suppose.
Now, is there a certain ship that looks bigger and badder than all the others?
that's a really good question. It doesn't. It's weird because it says that they are 202,000 ton range, and that the bulk of them are military, but it doesn't say. It doesn't say what kind of military ships they are. Let me take a look here. I want first book.
It's like they just ruled out combat.
Well, I
understand.
mean,
there is no combat worthy of us. We'll get annihilated. I get it.
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that would be if you're gonna shoot on your opening fire. That would be near suicide.
That is the Aslan way to talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yuhati show. Iyakao class traders. You're in a Katukao class clan transport. There's probably more than a couple of these couriers.
We can tell them that we're going to do some kind of contest.
So you do pick up some of these. So are you going to go active sensors then?
I mean, if that's what she wants, I'll make the roll.
Yeah, go ahead and make an electronic
Yeah.
sensors plus intellect or education.
Does the ship give me anything?
No,
Probably not.
it's
No.
it's civilian grade sensors.
Yeah. Well, how about a 13?
That's pretty good.
Okay.
So you do pick up a number of 1,000 ton Aosotao class cruisers. These are 1,000 tons. They are armed with 6 triple pulse lasers, 3 triple missile racks, and 1 triple turret with sandcasters in it. These are more commonly known. They're used. These particular ones are not from the Glorious Empire. They are pinging as one of the clans from the Herate, one of the Halai Triumvirate clans, as a matter of fact. But from the Glorious Empire, these are commonly referred to as mercenary cruisers. You're picking up a number of 800-ton escort ships. There's a couple of tenders that are out there. It would have been nice if they'd have put these in order, but whatever.
Maybe we should just address the clan. Just
you're
whatever
also picking up Sakai class assault carriers. These things are huge. They're like they're 2,000 tons, and they're shaped kind of like a horseshoe. And these things are just massive at 2,000 tons. They are heavy carriers designed for invasions and open wars, and there's a number of these things around the planet. But as you get closer to Tryaoke, you are messaged by one of the escorts, and at first it comes over in Troc, and your Ting's translator program translates it from Troc to Galanglic, and it's basically the standard message. I mean, you guys have heard it a million times. To power down your drives and heave to. Prepare to be boarded for an inspection.
I will open the comms for the captain to respond, and have my translator program do it. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Can I use, I've got a shriek box. I can sound just like her and repeat whatever the hell she says.
Well, I mean, you're the translator. You've got is the translator program on your computer, or is it in your Neuralink?
Yes.
No. Is it on like your portable computer, or is it in your Neuralink?
It's both.
Okay.
I have I copy everything and back up everything. If I've got a device, I put my programs on it and I tweak it out with all the stupid little stuff that just I like,
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's no reason that you couldn't plug your portable computer into the comm system.
Then that's what I'll do, so that way the captain can talk, and that way if we die, not looking at me.
So wait, on whose authority are we being inspected?
And he tells you that it is for an Aslan, he kind of chuckles. And he says, I didn't expect to hear humans. And he speaks in a very heavily accented Galanglic rather than Troc. And he says, Tryaoke is under an embargo. There is no clans are allowed to land on the planet. Who are you serving?
What's his face? The unpronounceable chief guy's name.
Yeah, right. Yukioko. That works. Yukioko. He says. Interesting. Well, we must do an inspection of your vessel, and he says we'll try to make it as quick as possible, but Aslan are forbidden to land on Tryaoke.
And I'm a human.
We're not Aslan.
Yeah.
So he
can I confuse him because he's a stupid Aslan male?
So the Aslan, all humans, most Aslan think that all humans look the same. And because of their separation, their segregation of duties between the sexes, because all humans look the same, they might assume that Keith is a woman because he's working as an engineer.
Oh yeah.
So they're apologetic when they find out, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's just so weird to us. Like, we didn't know." So he says that they still need to do an inspection, and that he will try to make the inspection quick. We've got better things to do, anyways.
All right. I guess we're doing this.
I mean, we don't have much of a choice.
They really, yeah.
We don't have anything on this ship except a bunch of refugees, so
yeah,
I'm not worried about it.
And they're all human. I mean, yeah, maybe we can challenge them. Take on one of their guys in a first blood contest.
Oh, no.
If necessary, sure.
If necessary. I mean, probably don't want to open with that, but
it's a friendly challenge, I mean,
I thought that'd be like in our back pocket in case we needed to buy time, or like that.
I'm thinking it's a reason to land is to have an inter-system first blood contest to declare the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the system. And all of the big cool cats that want to come show their fucking big dick and swing it around can come on down. And we're going to have a big event. And that will be what get us a reason to land and ditch off all these humans.
If the inspection goes poorly, let's do that.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. They'll love that shit. Maybe if we have some of that fried meat left over, I mean the meat braids. If we have some of those left over, we could lay them out and
So this is the escort, and your sensors show that it has launched a armed pinnace with 2 pulse lasers on it, and they are making their way over to dock with the Betty for their inspection. And just as Ting, you see on the sensors that the pinnace has launched. It'll probably be here in about 30 minutes. Your robot activates.
Well, I definitely want to look at that.
So
I will go ahead and as it activates, I will quickly hit it up on the on screen. You know how Captain Kirk said on screen, and they would put it up on the bridge. You know, I'm gonna on screen it.
Put it up on the big screen. So
Yeah,
you see the robot activate, and the compartment opens up, and you can see that somebody has opened up the compartment, and you see somebody reach in and looking for the transceiver, and looks right at the robot, and you realize that it is Uden.
I will then activate the robot's little speaker and go, "Hi, Uden. What the fuck you doing?"
Uden quickly vacates and runs off.
Well, we all saw that. Should we go talk to Uden?
Yeah.
We definitely should send somebody off to her immediately.
Right. Oscar's been quiet.
It's a spaceship. Where the fuck is it going to run to? Like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, maybe we could get on the speakers and say.
Well, make sure he doesn't
Uden,
get on the little Betty and take off in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will go to the little Betty and stand guard there.
Okay, so Ting is going to head down to the Betty. What are the rest of you doing?
Are we like all the security force? Can we like beam his face on all the screens on the ship and be like, we're looking for this guy, he's in big trouble?
You could do that, yeah. I mean, you could do a ship-wide intercom.
Can we lock doors and crap too? Like, you're just
Yeah.
Lock all doors.
Yeah, from the bridge, you could theoretically lock all of the iris valves from the bridge.
Yep, we're going to do that, and we are going to find this guy and talk to him.
Okay.
Lately, at first.
So,
did he leave the hatch open?
To engineer? No, he put the compartment hatch back on.
Oh man.
So Ting is heading.
My little friend is stuck.
So Ting is heading down towards the shuttle bay, and of course, it does. The locked iris valves don't, of course, affect you guys because you have security clearance, and the passenger, the refugees, are of course, looking out of their quarters, and as Ting is moving through and heading towards the shuttle bay, they're of course wanting to know, why are you searching for Uden? What did he do? Blah blah blah. Is anybody else going with Ting, or?
I'm in my battle dress with a scanner.
I thought we were all like searching room to room.
Yeah.
Basically.
If no one's reported in, I'm just going to make sure he doesn't get on the shuttle.
Everybody's gonna go looking for him.
Maybe the captain should stick behind so that we can have somebody ready in case they get here. The shuttle gets here.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, you probably want somebody official to meet the big cats when they knock on the door.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go anywhere then?
Yeah, I'll go looking for
Okay, so Keith, Ting, and Ox. Ox, what are you doing?
I'll join the search. I mean,
Okay, so the three of... Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. The three of you, go ahead and make a investigation. Either your choice. You can either make investigation plus intellect or recon plus intellect.
Oh, I'm going with the recon. That's for sure.
13.
Nice.
Plus intellect, you said?
Yes.
There's a bloodhound somewhere in my family history.
Yes, in your genealogy,
yeah.
there's a bloodhound.
You got me beat.
I only got 9.
Okay, so Ox, you get down to the cargo tank expansion zone. This is essentially there, a workshop down here that Keith can use to manufacture things or repair things. This is kind of, it was the cargo bay, but because of the collapsible fuel tanks and things of that matter,
Right.
it's
much cargo.
It's not a whole lot of cargo. Right now, it's filled up with knapsacks and pillowcases and the few backpacks and whatnot of the passengers themselves. And you find Uden is down here in this cargo bay.
I will report that to everybody.
And so, I mean, you track him in here, and he turns around, and he's got a pair of monkey knives.
And I carry a body pistol.
Yeah, Uden brought a knife to a body pistol fight.
No need to be hasty, Uden. You just got some questions to answer.
He seems pretty adamant about. I mean, he's pretty defiant. He's taking up a defensive position. Like he's ready to get into a fight.
That's fine. I'm willing to wait till Ting in his battle dress shows up.
I'm definitely on my way.
So,
I'm just wearing my regular little cloth armor that I wear around town. I'm not going to run around in a battle dress all the time.
Right, yeah. And so you radio Ting and Keith, or just Ting?
Everybody.
Okay, so everybody.
Uden's here.
Headed that way.
So you guys kind of
seem to want to play.
So you kind of corner Uden in the cargo bay, and I mean, as soon as Ting shows up, I mean, of course Keith shows up, and then Ting walks in battle dress. I mean, he doesn't know that it's Pioneer battle dress, but to him it all looks the same. And so he sees Ting come in, and Uden just kind of drops the monkey knives and drops to his knees because it would be impossible for him to win in this fight. And
I will pick up the blades and slide them away.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah, the captain or somebody would probably has the questions.
Yeah. So, are you going to question him here? Or are you going to what are you guys going to do with him?
I don't know how much time we have, so just ask him what he was doing. Like, tell him that we found the.
We found the transceiver.
Yes, transceiver. That was the word I was thinking of. Yeah, we found the transceiver. What are you doing?
Yeah. What's really going on here?
So he tells you that back when he was a slave, he says, when I was a slave in the glorious empire, I was Silea. And Rexar, your translation program doesn't really know what to make of that. Rexar tells you that it is a rank of privilege for slaves in the glorious empire, and he served basically he served as a spy and an informer and a traitor to other slaves. And none of the other refugees know about his past being Asilia in the Glorious Empire. But Uden tells you, he says, I was approached by operatives of the Hurrah Triumvirate and promised a tidy sum of money and passage to a world of my choice if I activated a radio beacon in each system that the Bad Betty visited. And he says he does not know exactly what the equipment that he's been activating does. He just wants he was just looking forward to his money at the end and being able to go away and live the life that he wanted.
But how did you expect this to turn out when you started cutting up, possibly other crew members? I mean,
Well, I mean, all of the refugees, him having monkey knives is not abnormal. They all have them.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Is I mean, you pulled out your knives and kind of took that. We don't really want problems, Maybe we can switch them out in a low berth real quick.
You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna let the refugees do their own justice system, whatever that entails.
That's genius. I didn't even think of that. We're gonna hand the traitor over to his own people and let them deal with him.
Yeah, he says he's Silia. What do you want to do with him? Here he is.
Yeah.
All yours.
I guess summon the head refugee chick.
Blanca
to the level 4, area 4 where we are. Just kind of put that out there.
Okay.
And she can come and we can just have a quick conversation and then tell them, just be real. And be like, look, we've got this inspection coming up and we're trying to get you on the planet. But this idiot here is trying to, he's trying to stick something in your case. He's not even going to give a reach around. And it's terrible.
So one of the things that you do know is that the Hurrah Triumvirate, which are basically there are 3 Aslan clans that are in charge of the planet Hurrah, and their solution, and it's part of the Halai chain as well. Their solution, they were really big on the idea of just exterminating all the humans. They're like, these people are roaches. They're a problem. Let's just exterminate them and we can move on with our lives, and the Ihati can come in and take their land. Now, on Halai, the clan that runs Halai, they've had some success. Their success was their idea was to they integrated humans into Aslan society, but I think saying integrated is a really generous way of looking at it. They created a labor caste, and so humans could be a part of this labor caste. They could never basically become more than that, but they were free, and the Aslan, I guess you could say they treated them with on Halai, they treat them with some form of dignity and respect, but it's not like a human is ever going to rise to any prominence or any amount of station on that planet. They'll forever be, dock workers and things of that nature, shit shovelers. But they're never going to be politicians or anything like that. But at least they're free, and the Aslan are like, you know what? On Halai, that's worked great for us. The Triumvirate on Hurrah are like, yeah, that sounds like a pain in the ass. We don't want to do that. And you're still not aware of what the whole situation here. You know that Tryaoke has 8 billion humans. They were. Well, I mean, humans, they are prolific. They're like the rabbits of the Sophont species.
I mean, if they've got billions, I'm thinking, what? We've got 250, 300 people we're just wanting to add to the population.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that much, really. You know, I mean, we're going to do a couple return trips, but you know what? We're going to put on a good show every time we come by.
They're not out of 8 billion people. You're not going to notice another 1,000 or so by the time everything's all said and done. Yeah, I mean, what's a thousand? What's 1,000 more human?
Party. Yeah, we're going to throw on a party for you guys. You know,
so
it's going to be amazing.
So Beth, well, you guys are deciding. So Lenka and Ilium are coming down to the cargo bay. Beth, the pinnace docks with the Betty, and you see there's probably like, I would say there's like 10 Aslan, 8 males and like 2 females, and the of course the leader of this group is a male, and he tells the females to check this ship over for standard customs engineering checks, things like that. Both of them have similar equipment that you've seen Keith use, diagnostic devices, things of that nature. And the other the males start to fan out. They're kind of looking around, and one of the males says something and shouts down the corridor in Troc, and the sergeant says something back to him, like in a questioning manner, like, what are you talking about? And so then he turns to you, Captain Beth, and he says, so my men tell me that you are carrying a load, like all of your passengers are human. What is going on here? Well, first of all, I'm surprised to see a clan transport that is being operated by humans. That's unusual, but you're here as part of the clan lord of Hittiakia's the clan lord of Hittiakia. You're here on his behalf, but that doesn't tell me what you're doing here.
So he wanted these excess humans resettled within 6 parsecs of our origin, and this planet is where they wish to go.
He says, but okay. He says, well, he looks over your shoulder. Rexar is standing behind you. He goes, well, normally, Aslan are not allowed to land on Tryaoke, and he says, but in this case, it doesn't look like you're. He looks at Rexar and he says, it doesn't look like you're wanting to stay. And he says, this is very strange. I don't know why anybody would want to live on Tryaoke, especially if you're human, but there's really no law against it. And so he says, you're clear to land, but you'll want to go directly to the spaceport. And the other Aslan come back and they confirm, there's a bunch of humans in low berths and in staterooms, but Rexar is the only other Aslan aboard. And so he says, well, in this case, it seems like he's standard part of the crew of this ship. You're obviously not you're not Aslan claim jumpers. So, but he basically he explains to you that Tryaoke is blockaded because there are all these Ihati that are clamoring to get land. And the problem is there are 8 billion humans on Tryaoke, and nobody's figured out what to do about that problem. And so until they come up with a solution to that problem, they're not allowing any Ihati or other Aslan to land on the planet because, a lot of these Ihati would just go down and start slaughtering people and take their land. And so the Aslan are actually attempting to hold that whole situation off until they come up with something better. He's like, there's nothing to stop more humans from showing up. So
there'll be 8,600,000,000.
Right, yeah, or 8,220,000,000. He's like, yeah, I mean, nobody's going to notice. That's fine. He says, now, be aware that under the current situation on the planet, there is a strict weapons ban. Anything more than blades, blades and shotguns are allowed. And he says, the Aslan engineers, or the two females, note that the Betty and the little Betty are armed. He says they're not concerned about the pulse lasers. He says if you take your shuttle down, as long as you leave the pulse lasers powered down, that shouldn't be a problem. But he says, definitely go directly for the starport until you're authorized to go anywhere else.
Sounds good. All right, we passed inspection. Good job, crew.
Yay!
And so they exit out and board up to the pinnace and leave you.
Whew.
Beth, you can go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
So are we going to land we're not going to land on the surface.
So
no, just a shuttle.
Yeah.
Landing on the surface would be bad.
So the Betty is a standard hull. This planet has a very thin atmosphere, and the Betty's gonna fall like a rock. It could be done, but it would probably be a lot better, a lot safer if you just took the shuttle.
10.
Okay, so you bring the Betty into a nice parking orbit, and you are around the planet Tryaoke. Something that looks kind of like this. It's not a half bad looking planet. Like I said, though, the planet does have a thin atmosphere. Now, the one thing that as the Aslan was leaving, as they were leaving and boarding their pinnace, he laughs and he says, "You'll want to wear respirators while you're down there." For two reasons. He says it's not impossible to acclimate to the atmosphere, although that's going to take you about 2 weeks, and it's going to be extremely unpleasant. I would recommend just going ahead and wearing respirators. The other reason is that they tried he tells you, he says, don't be surprised if you do meet humans down there. They're not going to be like what you expect.
Ooh, what does that mean?
He says we tried to integrate them. Now, Tryaoke, of course, was a glorious empire world. He says we tried to integrate them. They just didn't. It's like they couldn't understand what we were teaching them, and none of the attempts that we made to integrate them or teach them other jobs ever worked. He says I don't know. I'm not insulting your species. He says, but they just don't seem that smart. And he says we have reasons to believe, due to facilities that we found after we took over the planet, that they are the product of genetic manipulation. And he says the only thing, however, that the humans have taken to Uwua ranching, and they really, really, really took to it. And so he says, even if you wish to acclimate yourselves to the atmosphere, you'll probably still want to wear the respirator because of the enhanced air from all of the Uwua.
Wow, a whole planet that smells like the countryside. Right?
Yes.
Dang.
No,
Yes.
the countryside don't necessarily smell like that.
Patches
That's
of
like
it.
an unchanged litter box.
Yeah,
That's what that smells like.
you,
the whole
Oh.
planet though. All
you know
right, maybe
you know
we
what
get used to
you
it.
know what
Mhm.
stinks to high hell, and I'm not talking about like cow manure and a farm. What stinks to high hell is harvest time when they're pulling up potatoes and onions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
my god, that stinks. Like
Yeah.
it's bad. So yeah, imagine that smell, except the whole
Oh.
planet smells that way.
Guess we'll have to wear back suits.
Yeah, I mean, you might consider it.
Maybe it has
I mean, a
to-
respirator mask will do, but one can never be too sure.
The next load of humans, we can be like, "Are you sure you want to go there? It's real stinky." We can like warn them.
So you get into a parking orbit, and you guys are getting ready to load up to the shuttle, and Lenka and Ilum and a group of refugees, they're insisting to go with you. They are red, and they're talking amongst themselves. They're telling Captain Treadwell. They're saying, while we're down on the planet checking out our new home, start releasing people from the low berths so that we can be ready to populate and settle as soon as possible. And he's like, well, we don't know anything about this world. Maybe he looks to Beth. And he's like, do you want to do that? I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, make sure they take Uden with them at least.
Oh yeah, they're going to take Uden with them. At this point, Uden, so they've shaved Uden's head, and he's kind of marked as what he is. He's not wearing decent clothing anymore. He's wearing basically rags, and they're just leading him around. But they're not leaving him on the ship. They're taking him with them. They don't want him out of sight.
I mean, once we deliver them here to the starport, I mean, technically that's the job. Here you guys go. There you go. Our job's to bring them here.
Well,
not
no,
oversee 'em.
your job was to find a suitable place to put him. You don't even know that Tryaoke is a suitable place yet.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
really loose term.
They were
Okay.
they were walking when we left. I mean, I don't know how much more suitable you want.
Yeah. I think what we're doing is we're taking who is already out of the low berths and going down to the surface.
To see if they consider it suitable. Or not.
Yeah,
Right.
to decide.
Right, but Link is saying to Treadwell, while you guys are gone, to start waking people up in the low berths on the Betty. And,
Oh no, not
But you're not in charge, so
yeah. I mean, Treadwell's
fuck
looking
up,
at Beth
get
and
the
being like,
shuttle.
I don't know that.
No, don't do that because I'm the physician. I have unfrozen the most popsicle people out of everyone, and if I'm on the surface, I can't help. So don't do it yet.
And so Link is like, oh, okay, I can understand that reasoning. We're just very excited, and so she has how many people? So shit, she's got like 30 people that are coming with her, including Uden and Ilum, that are these 30 people are ready to explore their what they
Do
think
they
is going
have-
to be their new home. They're adamant that this is it. This is
How
the
do
many
they
promise.
have?
How
they
many
have-
fit on the small Betty with the low berths there though?
So
Are
the
they gonna-
Betty, even
They're
with
gonna
the
hold the straps.
even with the
stand.
low berths, the Betty has enough seats for 36.
Okay.
The low birds are mostly taking up cargo space.
Let's go.
All right, so
Let's find
Beth,
new skinks.
Beth, go ahead and make another piloting plus dex check.
And so what, we're bringing just our regular clothes? Is that what we're wearing?
So he told you that there are very strict weapons. There's very strict weapons laws on Tryaoke right now, because of this whole Aslan situation. So I don't know what it depends on what you guys want to load. Nobody's here to see what you take and what you don't. What you want to load onto the little Betty. That's up to you guys.
I'm gonna leave my combat battle dress locked up on the Big Betty.
Okay.
Because I don't think that'll fly.
Yeah, that's a little obvious.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as hand weapons, he told you that the most that's allowed right now on Tryaoke is blades and shotguns. Stunners, of course, are available if you have them. But
I'll bring a couple of stun grenades and my piston fist and the breathing apparatus.
Yeah, everybody's going to have a respirator, of course.
Well, we're not going to do a lot on the planet. I'll just keep my vac suit on.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll wear a vac suit if I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Because that has... Yeah, I'll use one of those.
Yeah, vac suits are fine.
They got protection.
A little bit, yeah. It's like, what, plus 10?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty good for... Yeah, I will admit, that is pretty good. I mean, you don't...
I'll wear my combat armor since I don't really have a vac suit that I use.
Okay. Yeah.
And carry my officer's sword.
Okay. That's a bladed weapon. Whatever.
Yeah.
And, were you going to stash any weapons on the little Betty?
I would recommend against it.
Yeah, I probably won't need to. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea to have some sort of slug weapon just in case.
Okay, well you can stick one somewhere if you want.
Okay, so I'll shove one on there.
Okay. I mean, you've got a cargo area here, and I mean, you could probably stash some guns underneath some lowbirds.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stash some guns. Let's do it.
Here, this frozen guy will hold on to my Gauss rifle. He's not gonna know. And if you get caught, you're just like, I didn't even know he had that in there. What a bastard!
I'll stash my frag grenades in that area too.
Okay, so you're stashing a whole bunch of stuff in the low berth area. So what'd you get on your piloting check, Beth?
5. I did really bad.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So you guys are having a really rough entry, and you get a call from the starport, and they want to know if you are having a technical malfunction, but you guys are seeing that there is it's like if you're hitting rough air pockets in a plane, and it's not just shaking, but with the way Beth is flying, it seems to be dropping, like just all of a sudden. And so, there's lots of little screams and yells coming from the passenger compartment. Beth, go ahead and make another piloting check.
Okay, this one is 7, so slightly better. But I'll tell them there's no technical problem. I'm just fucking it up really bad.
I just suck as a pilot. Don't worry, we're fine. It's all fine here. You actually, the ship. Well, that's interesting. The ship actually takes 3 points of hull damage from the rough turbulence as you're coming in. And Beth finally comes and sets it down. Now this port, as you are looking at the windows and seeing this port, This port has seen better days. It was a decent Class C starport when the Glorious Empire ran this area. The invading Aslan Herate clans then bombed it into a Class E starport, and now they have kind of rebuilt it into a modest Class D starport. So there is a lot of sections of this starport where the buildings are nothing but frames. And you can see that that at one time this was actually, a fairly decent looking starport. And after you land and you step off, parts of the starport concourse, you note that they look like Beth. You note that these look like at one time they were sections of like a medical clinic. And some of the writing that you see in Tryaoke, Rexar gets this kind of disgusted look on his face and tells you that this section of the starport was actually for incoming female geneticists from the Glorious Empire, and that this is kind of where they were conducting some of their experiments.
Are these people like stupid models, like on
Fantasy?
on Fantasy, or they messed up in some other way?
You can ask around. Who wants to make a streetwise check?
I'll do that.
Okay. Streetwise plus social or charm, your choice.
Okay. That was a good one. 14.
Yeah, it was 14. Wow. Okay, so you guys kind of asked that question, and you are told that. So they're like, I don't know why they would be good looking, but the Glorious Empire, they're not aware of the ones that were the people that were found on Fantasy. The Glorious Empire evidently was fascinated with what they found with their dealings with the Florian League, and so the Florians they are an offshoot of humanity. Are they minor race? I think they're a minor race. Anyways, they were an offshoot, and the ancients really messed with them. And so the Floriani are actually a race, a bifurcated race. There are the Bernai, who are kind of short, skinny. They have big heads, and they are the master thinkers of the Florian League. And then there are the Fescals. And the Fescals are genetically bred to be hulking, stupid brutes. And they are kind of the labor class. And that seems to work very well for the Floriani. And it's not like the Fescals have any problems with the Bernai. They don't really socially interact, but everybody gets along. And the Florian League is one of the only places that you've heard of. You haven't witnessed it, but it's one of the only places that you've heard of where ancient technology is actually still functioning. 300,000 years later, there is still ancient machines that are cranking stuff out. The Glorious Empire was fascinated by this, and they were like, well, we have these slaves. If we could turn them into Fescals, that would be great, because they would be super strong. We could use them as shock troops in battles. We could use them for various labor projects. They'd be too stupid to revolt against us. That would be great. And it did not work out for them. They completely hosed that plan. But they did create these basically muscular humans. That is the population, evidently, the 8 billion on Tryaoke.
They're ripped. They're in the protein powder mines.
You haven't met any of these humans yet. Everybody that you're seeing at the starport are Aslan. And they tell you, the Aslan, so basically you go through the standard procedure. You've landed, you then, go to the customs desk, and a female there, stamps the paperwork and whatnot, and tells you that, she can overhear Lenka and Ilum talking about how they want to go out and meet the people, the other humans of Tryaoke. And she tells you, the Aslan female tells you, she says, well, we have some vehicles that you can rent, that would be suitable to go out into the outback. And she says, if you have your own vehicles, that's fine. You'll want to limit yourself to about a 500-kilometer radius around the starport. But she says, unless those vehicles have the rough terrain trait, you're going to have a very hard go of it. The terrain is very difficult. And so she says, we would recommend just going ahead and renting one of our vehicles if that's what you wanted to do.
Sure. How much will that run us?
Oh, 100 credits a day.
Okay, cool. That should be fine. Let's get out into the outback.
So this will be the vehicle that you will be using. It is the crawler. It kind of looks like a squat, fat cat, oddly enough.
Looks like a toad to me.
Yeah, or like a toad, yeah. And so, you guys kind of load up into a couple of these, and we will pick up next week with you heading off into the outback to meet some Tryaoke humans on their many, many, many poopy-smelling Awua ranches.
Cool.
Hooray!
Thanks a lot. It was really fun.
You're welcome.
Maybe they can give me some workout tips. Let's see.
Yes. All right, guys. I will see you next week at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good night, guys.